Ted Nugent, and I'm part of a very great experiment in self-government where we the people determine our own pursuit of happiness and our own individual freedom and liberty. Not to be confused with the Barack Obama gang who believes in we the sheeple and actually is attempting to re-implement the tyranny of King George that we escaped from in 1776. And if you want another Concord Bridge, I got some buddies. NRA Stand and Fight campaign. I believe that started around 1775, and we're keeping this we the people thing alive. You know, and I appreciate the question, and I understand there's a lot of devil's advocacy going on out there. If you attempt to counter and question the motives of the NRA, that's not just the devil's advocate, that would be the devil. Anyone who questions the most basic fundamental right of self-defense is a dangerous, freedom-threatening, scary person that we must beat down. I'm a simple man. I'm 64 years clean and sober. Everything's working pretty good. My radar functions reasonably accurate. Those that would take away the right to keep and bear arms or infringe upon it in any way are the enemies of freedom. And I give you the inescapable evidence that the mass slaughters have occurred every time in Eric Holder, Barack Obama's dream. Their dream is gun-free zones. That's where the most innocent lives are lost. What kind of subhuman mongrel would want more of that? These are dangerous people. I don't think what they did in New York City was unconstitutional. What they did in New York City and New York State, Cuomo and Bloomberg, is unconstitutional. And again, I don't have to give you any presumptions or guesswork. Cuomo and Bloomberg have full-time, tax-paid-for security details with unlimited firepower. So King George gets all the guards, but we the people are forced into unarmed helplessness. There's no such thing as a 7-round rifle magazine. They're literally legislating a big lie. And here's the point. When they're willing to give up their high-capacity magazines and their assault rifles, when our employees are willing to give them up, then their employers might consider it, but it will never happen. If you limit people's firepower, you're sending a message to the paroled monsters out there. And again, there are paroled murderers. Our so-called justice system has so failed, is so dangerously inadequate, that in every jurisdiction of this country there are paroled violent felons. They don't adhere to magazine capacity or firepower restrictions. Who in good conscience would want to declaw the cats because the coyotes are attacking them and eating them? When the coyotes attack the cats, you don't declaw the cats. You've got to be kidding me. So Ted Nugent, the guitar player, has to articulate this. This is what it's come to. There's a self-evident truth that resonates certainly in the halls of the SHOT Show and the National Rifle Association. And those of common sense, logic, goodwill, and decency, and a modicum study of history, we understand that when you are forced into unarmed helplessness, and your firepower is restricted, that evil then will do what they want to do with you. The psychotic murderer in Newton, Connecticut, broke 41 laws. How insane do you have to be to think that the 42nd law would have had any effect on this madman? I mean, you literally have to be brain dead. And if you listen to Mike Bloomberg framing the Second Amendment as a deer hunting issue, this is bizarro world. He's got to be the dumbest upright species in the history of breathing creatures. What kind of idiot thinks that our founding fathers was protecting deer hunting? So we are dismayed and saddened and repulsed that our elected officials are in constant violation of the U.S. Constitution and common sense. I believe that these are important times. I believe that the fact that there's over 250,000 new NRA members is a statement to the government, a new updated "Don't Tread on Me" statement. I believe the celebration of American families buying more ammo and firepower in the last 30 days than ever in recorded history is an undeniable statement that we will not take this line down. What President Obama is doing is implementing his Saul Alinsky training. He really wants to fundamentally transform the last greatest quality of life in the history of humankind. And he wants us to be more European-like, where they, the sheeple, are subservient, uninspired, and shackled to a great degree. When a man can dictate to another man an unarmed helplessness, such a dictator is dangerous and against the very pulse of freedom that is instinctual and is written down in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So we need to examine every line of this executive action and executive order. We, the people, have to break away from these shackles of self-inflicted apathy, and we need to raise maximum increased hell with our elected officials, saying that the right to keep and bear arms does not need to be reinterpreted, that keep means it's mine, you can't have it, and bear means I have some on me right now and they're loaded. Anyone that infringes upon that must be treated like King George. And when the #1 gun crime in the history of America is a direct result of an attorney general, we the people better wake up, and I think we are waking up. But I think this unprecedented threat against individual freedom and the Constitution will be countered with a new voting power and a fist of we the people like no one's ever seen before, and I pray every night that we do. I need an AR-15 the same reason the CNN security guards need an AR-15, Piers. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I think I can summarize it. I can articulate the shortcomings of Piers' mental capacity and his terminal, not-so-great British genetics. But I think I heard Piers Morgan sing his national anthem when I was at CNN. He doesn't know that I was listening, but I heard him sing the national anthem of Piers Morgan in Great Britain, and I will sing it for you now. The guy is the poster child for sheep-like dependency. And I don't need to answer why I need an AR-15. It's not the Declaration of Needs. It's not the Bill of Needs. I don't need a Corvette to go to the store for milk and bread, but I want to, etc., etc. I don't need to play the guitar like I do because, well, actually I do because nobody else can. But anytime anyone inserts the term need regarding a free man's choice, that person is dangerous, and we must vote them out of office as soon as possible. And expose them in the media. I just wrote a piece today. Go to AOL.com. I wrote an AOL interview that is 10 loaded questions of insanity. And we could go on and on about the president's failings, his criminal activity, the criminality of Hillary Clinton, the criminality of Tim Geithner, the criminality of Eric Holder. But here is what's wrong with America today. We have a president, and everybody better write this down and memorize this. The President of the United States goes to the Vietnam Memorial Wall and pretends to honor 58,000 American heroes who died fighting communism, and then he hires, appoints, and associates with communists. He pretends to pay honor to men who died fighting communism, and then he hangs out with, hires, and appoints communists. He is an evil, dangerous man who hates America and hates freedom, and we need to fix this as soon as possible. My favorite thing I've seen at the SHOT Show is all the military and SWAT heroes that come up to me and thank me for standing up for the rights that they dedicate their lives to. I'm up to date on all the firepower and all the technology. In fact, my barn really actually competes with the SHOT Show display. You have never been to my barn?
No.
It's so beautiful, it's insane.
It's an invitation, Ted.
No, it's not. It's more of a warning. Everything about the SHOT Show, the number one impressive thing about the SHOT Show is the spirit. There's a vitality increasing that is not just about fondling hardware and owning hardware and celebrating